Focal Point Ministries, equipping global visionary leaders.
All right, you are welcome again to our YouTube channel. And please, if you have not subscribed, ensure you do that. So today we are looking at one of the cardinal things that helps a man. You know, the life of a man is like a car with a steering. What is the importance of the steering? The steering is to help the driver, take control of the direction of the car or whatever is used to drive the car, because we have cars these days that are self-driving cars. So the essence of that is to bring the car into the right direction and guide it to the destination. And that is how our life is. That is how your life is. And that is why if you see a car, you see a steering. There are things that have been programmed. There are things that have been, put into you and me, which serve as the steering of our lives. And one of them is your thought. Your thoughts are powerful. Your thoughts are very, very important. They serve as a steering. They guide your life. They direct your life. The thought of man determine, the direction of his life. In fact, your thought is what tells you what you will become in the future. It's not about the economy. It's not about the condition. It's about the governing thought of your heart. And that is why, in fact, sometimes governments do things, or organizations do things, or corporations do things, or some institutions do things to affect the thought of man, to make man think in a certain way, because they know that once you can get into the thought, you can get into the man. If you can control the thought of a man, you can control his future, you can control his present, you can control his behavior, you can control his destiny. In fact, science is doing everything now to ensure that they have contact with the thought of man, with the mind of man, so that man can be programmed by their scientific, operations or devices. So with these, whatever they want man to do is what man does. And there are so many things that are going on in the world of science today to control your thoughts. What I'm trying to say is this: your thoughts are powerful. You see, you want to succeed in your business, you need the right thought. You want to succeed in your family, your thought is important. You want to succeed in your finance, your thought is important. You want to succeed even in your character, your thought is important. Let's see the scripture. In the book of Proverbs chapter 4, verse 23, there is a way the King James put it. King James says, with all diligence guide your heart, for out of it are the issues of life. But I want to read a version to you that put it in a very important way, which is the New Century Version. It says, be careful what you think. Can you see that? It says, be careful what you think, because your thoughts run your life. Amazing. Amazing. Be careful what you think. That is the NCV, or the New Century Version. Be careful with what you think, because your thoughts will run your life. Be careful with the thoughts you allow to permeate your mind. Be careful with the things you allow. Maybe your business is down. It's not about that business that is down. It's about the thoughts you allow. Maybe you are having issues with respect to your marriage. Maybe you are even doing things you have vowed. You have done, New Year resolution that I will not do this again. This is a new year. I want to have a new turn. I want to have a new life. But you see that your life, going the same direction. First of all, check your thoughts. Before you deal with the conduct or the character or the attitude or the behavior, check your thoughts. Check the thoughts that are governing your heart. Check the thoughts that preoccupy your mind. Because until you are able to guide your thoughts, you cannot guide or change anything. In Romans chapter 12, verse 2, the scripture says, be ye transformed by the renewing of your mind. Be ye transformed by the renewing of your thoughts. Why is it that you want your thought to be renewed? Because before you can be transformed, the reason is because your thought is what determines your conduct. Your thought is what determines what you become. We are talking about you and your thoughts. And it's very, very important that you know that your life is governed by the thoughts that you think. Your business is operated not by you just working with your hands alone, but by you enhancing the right thought, thinking the right thought in your heart. Let me read that scripture again. It said, be careful what you think. That's Proverbs chapter 4, verse 23, the NCV translation. Be careful what you think, because your thoughts run your life. My brother, your thoughts govern your life. Your thoughts coordinate your life. So briefly, let's see what are some of the impact of thought. What are some of the effects of thought in the life of man or in man's destiny? Here are a few. Number one, your thought defines your worth. The worth of the personality of a man is a function of the thought of his mentality, is a function of the thoughts that occupy his mind, is a function of the thoughts that build his mentality. Every mentality is a construction of thought. Every mentality is a product of thought. So the mentality you have is what will determine the worth of your personality. And that worth of personality is therefore a product of thought. So one of the first things we can see is that the worth of your life is in the quality of your thought. I always say that the worth of a man's life is not in the quality of his cloth. The worth of your life is not in how much you buy your cloth, is not in how much your wristwatch costs, is not in how much your wears cost, is in how much the value of the thought. How much is the value of the thought that occupy your mind? That is the most important thing. Another important thing is that your thoughts decide your choice. You see, what tells you that, okay, today I'm stepping out and I just feel like, okay, let me just, check a friend, or let me quickly do this. Let me go this way. Let me do that. Let me choose this color. I want to have this wear today. It's not because of the cloth. It's because of your thought. So your thoughts decide your choice. What you choose is a function of thought. Your decision is based on your cogitation. The things you are thinking, they are the things that determine what you will decide to do. Number 3, your thought defines your culture. Oh, this is very, very important. It's very, very important. You see, the culture, every culture has certain elements. They are what we call the sociological element of culture. And those elements are actually, for instance, when you get to a particular tribe or you get to a particular place, you will see some things like their language, like their music, or their history, or their folklore, or even their geography. You see some artifacts, you see some statues. Those things are elements, the language they speak, the music, their fashion, the cloth they wear, and how they dress. Those things, they are not ordinary. Those things are the things that make those people to look the way they look. Those things are the things that make the people to behave the way they behave. And those things are more than physical elements or sociological elements. They are more than just things you see around the culture. They are actually things that have permeated their mind. And that is why it's very difficult to change culture. You see, anytime you go against a tribe that I don't like the way they do among the Yorubas, I don't like the way we do as Igbos, I don't like the way they do as Hausas. It's more than just, what you're actually fighting is thought. And the people who have been trained, you can imagine you telling an elderly man that the way we do is wrong. This elderly man is 80 years old, 90 years old, 100 years old. And the man will be like, what do you know? You are a child. Because the man has been raised with that for the past 100 years. And now you just want to come and tell the man that, sir, you are wrong. The reason is because you are yet to understand that culture and thought are one. Every culture is rooted in the thought. So the thought you have is a function of your culture. And the culture you have will also design or define your thoughts. So your thought is what tells you that this is the right culture for you. That is why when you become born again as a Christian, the scripture says that we read the other time, Romans 12 verse 2, it says that be ye transformed by the renewing of your mind. Because when you come into the kingdom, you have come into a new culture. But for you to imbibe in the culture of the kingdom, there must be a change in your thoughts. Until your thoughts change, your culture cannot change. Until your thoughts change, your way of life cannot change. Until your thoughts change, the lifestyle cannot change. That is why the most important thing that must change in a man's life is his thought. Another important power of thought is that the thought of man define the course it will take. The direction your life goes, the direction your life faces, it's a function of your thought. How your marriage moves, the pattern of your children, the pattern of your family, the direction your life goes, everything goes with you is a function of your thought. Your thought is very, very important. You cannot, take your thought for granted and think you will never be stranded. No. Your thought is what determines the direction of your life. And finally, the thought of man defines his company. Yeah, what you think determines who follows you. What you think or how you think determines who your friends will be. The saying says that birds of the same feather flock together is a function of thought. So what am I saying? You want to see new days. You want to see new things in your life. Then work on your thought, because your thought run your life. God bless you.